Welcome to this itechguides.com video. In this video, I will teach you how to enable screensaver on Windows 10 with group policy. Obviously, this is done from a Windows server. I'm going to be doing this demo from a Windows Server 2016 server. Okay. Normally, ideally, by default, when you log into a Windows server, the server manager will open. But if it doesn't open, you can search for it and open it. Then you click on Tools and select Group Policy Management. Okay, I'm going to pause the video while that is opening. Actually, when Group Policy Management opens, there are three actions or steps that you need to take to enable Group Policy screensaver in Windows 10 using group policy. The first thing you want to do is that you want to create a copy of the default domain policy, and to do that you expand the group policy object container and then right click the default domain policy. Sorry, not right click this time around, sorry. I want to create a copy, sorry about that. So you drag the default domain policy container into the group policy object container. Once you do that, you receive this tiny little pop-up that is, highlight. It's giving you the option to select what option to use. The best thing is to just accept the default. Use the default permissions for new GPOs and click OK. And then wait for the GPO to be copied into a new GPO. Once it is finished, you click OK. You will now see a copy of that GPO. The next thing you want to do is to right click it and rename it. And I just call it Enable Screensaver Windows 10. Now, it's always a good idea to make copies of GPOs in a complex domain environment. You don't want to be enabling group policy using the default domain policy. The reason is simple. When you create a copy of a GPO for new policies you want to enable, it gives you the ability to determine to where you link them. Microsoft best practice does not encourage you to link GPOs to the domain. It's always a good idea to link your GPOs to a smaller container like organizational units. But I'm just trying to explain why you need to create a copy of the GPO instead of actually setting your GPO within the using the default domain policy. Now, once you've created a copy of the GPO and then renamed it, the next thing you want to do is that you want to link that GPO to the container for the users that you want to apply that policy to. So, like I said, best practice is to link it to another container, not the domain. But for this example, I'm just going to link this. All you need to do is to drag the policy, the group policy object, into the Active Directory container that you want to link it to. For now, for this example, I'm going to link it straight to my domain. I'm going to drag that straight there. Once you see that little tiny plus sign, you know it's ready for you to drop it. Just drop it, and then it's going to ask you, do you want to link the GPOs that you have selected to this domain? Now, if it was a container, it will ask you to that maybe OU or something. Just click OK. Now, how you know that this the group policy object is now linked to that Active Directory object is that you will see the group policy object beneath that AD container. Now, the last step to actually enable screensaver is to right-click the group policy object, select, edit. I'm just going to, and then this will now open. I'm just going to minimize this and leave this open. This will open the group policy management editor. The next thing you want to do is that under user configuration, expand policies, then expand administrative template. I'm just trying to see whether I can make this bigger so that we can see the screen better. Within or beneath administrative template, you expand control panel, and then finally click on, let me just see whether I can expand this a bit, click on personalization. Now the default view of the details pane is enabled. I want to make it standard so that it's easier to actually view. Okay, you need to enable 3 policies. I've already done that here. By default, they will all be displaying not configured. You need to enable screensaver. You need to enable the policy prevent changing screensaver. Now, what this group policy does is that it stops your Windows 10 end users from modifying the group policy setting that you've applied. In this instance, you stop them from modifying the final group policy. You need to enable is screensaver timeout. So to enable is the first one. Double click it. Now by default it will display not configured. It's just because I've already done this before. Select enabled and click OK. Then double click prevent changing screensaver. Select enabled and click OK. Finally, double click screensaver timeout. This policy will determine how long a user will leave their computer inactive for the screensaver to be activated. Okay, and not like I said earlier, this whole policies by default are not configured. Select enabled, and then you need to modify the timeout, number of seconds to wait to enable the screensaver. It's 900 seconds by default, which is 15 minutes, but you can actually modify that if you like. I think 15 minutes is really too long, but remember that this is actually in seconds. When you finish, you click OK. So just to recount, the 3 policies will now be enabled, and you're done. But before I actually leave, I wanted to just recount the 3 steps that you needed to take to enable this policy. And the first 2, I mean, they actually all apply to enabling to working with group policy object. The first thing that you need to create a copy of an existing GPU, or preferably the default domain policy GPU, and you create that by dragging it to the group policy object container. The next thing that you need to link it to an AD container by dragging the copied GPU into that container. And finally, you need to enable the actual policy. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and share this video as well. Thank you.